Hey all, there's a lot of good VRs around right now, so this is a VR roundup. Just gonna tick them all down. I see a lot of you doing that, and I like to copy good ideas, so I'm going to do that. First off, Peter B wants you to say exactly how old you are. No, he wants to show cards from the year that you were born. All right, so cards from the year that I was born. And I left a note on Pepino Man's VRs today. 3D 80s kids. I know that 3D 80s kid. I know that they're all gonna be. They've all outed themselves, I believe, as folks who will be receiving documentation from AARP in the new year, and I count myself among them. So that will be great. That'll be really great. I can't wait to get those discounted tickets. I can't wait. While I'm with all the youngins that I work with, while I kind of pretend to be like, I'm like, hey guys, have you heard the new Taylor Swift? Is that what the kids are doing? I'll lend them my VHS tape of my friend's marathon. Suddenly, I'm an alien from another planet, which I am. But I'm also an alien from another planet who was born in 1974, just not here. Let's look at my handy dandy YouTube book. Okay, for the next one up here, we have, sorry, I'm just getting there. Signs of the Pastime wants to know what your best pickup of the year was. So I think my best pickup was a card that I been wanting for a while. It seemed super iconic to me, and also seemed to be priced out. So I was able to get it raw and then get it graded. Hence saving money. So this is it. This is the as documented 1934 to 1936 Lefty Grove. It says 1935 there. I think that's mislabeled because the back says 1934. I know that these cards are notoriously hard to accurately date, but I don't know that SGC has done any special digging to say this is a 1935 over a 1934. Doesn't really matter. It's a great card. I'm super happy to have it. It's one of my favorites in my collection, and it was a tough one to get this year. I kind of had to take a risk and get a card that wasn't sure about raw and then get it graded, and it surpassed my expectations. Next on the list, I have Sammy Thunder and A Collector's Dream. Now they're both celebrating. They're doing a mutual collab VR thing where they're both hitting the 1K mark in subs. So congrats there. And they want us to do something akin to mentioning a collector. Now, what I don't want to do is mention my best friends in the hobby, because I do feel like there I don't want to exclude anybody. So what I want to do is I want to mention, I think, a channel that is doing something that everybody shouldn't miss out on. And that is Iconic Al. He's doing his top 100 players of all time. I think he's proven himself. I think he's at like 17 or something like that, down from 100. He's put a lot of work into each of these videos. He's getting to crunch time. I feel like the community should be eagerly following his countdown. He mentioned that there's going to be some that he thinks will might be a little provoking, or might be a little provocative. So I think we should all tune in and see. I think he's dropping them weekly, I think, and see his countdown as he gets down to 1. I think this is kind of an epic series that he's doing, and I think we should all tune in. And then 3D 80s kid, who I always say 3D 80s kids, even though I know John, I'm friends with John, I'm just not good at speaking. So John from 3D 80s kid, because he's a single person, he wants us to talk about what we're obsessive about. And sometimes I feel like I'm I'm a disorganized thinker. I don't have a lot of focus in my card collecting. I would say that I would probably drive a lot of people batty. I don't have a lot of organization around my putting my cards together. I'm sometimes bad at documenting things. So all of this is to say I'm sort of in some ways that people might be very meticulous. I'm not. And I'm actually not always happy about that. I wish I was more organized in general in my life, and baseball cards is no exception there. So the here I'm mentioning a bunch of ways where I'm not obsessive. So when I first heard John's challenge, I thought, this might be a little tough for me because I feel like everyone else has a tidy little, like card room. It's like if you kind of use a metaphor of like like how tidy is your room, how organized you are, meticulous about. Everyone else seems to have like this tidy room, and my room is a mess, and I have no focus. But what I do have is I have a criteria that I follow. So I sort of have like an algorithm rather than a focus, which is like the net I cast. So I look for cards, and when they come up, I have a save search mostly in eBay. That's mostly how I find cards. I try to be opportunistic about buying cards, finding a card at the right time, at the right price, and it's a card that I really would like to have. And I think there's all these like little calibrations in my brain that I'm not even aware of, around what makes me choose what when. It's not written down. It's not predetermined. It's very much I'll have a card in my head, and then I just won't get that card for a really long time. I'll get other cards that I'll have this card. This is my number one card, and then this card will beat that, and this card will beat that, and this card will beat that, and it'll keep happening. So there's like really no discipline, but I do think there's a calculation there. And this is a little bit, this one is, hopefully I'm not sharing too much here, but where my obsession is monitoring the process that I do have and trying to seize the opportunity of getting a good card when I can. I spend a lot of time on that, thinking about it, searching for it, and trying to get these cards. I max out my save searches, and I look through them every day. Every day, I clear out my save searches so that I've looked through all of them. So that is my answer. Did I miss a VR? That's my question. Did I miss a VR because my intention was to get them all? Thanks for sticking around. I don't know if my obsessiveness resonates with anybody. I don't know if there's anybody who has. I've also carried some shame with me around my lack of discipline around the hobby. And I know that it's just collect what you like, right? They say collect what you like. That's what Pepino Man says that. And by the way, Pepino Man handled the Sammy Thunder and the Collector's Dream VR great. I think we both shared the pain of trying to like pick out your buddies and who you might exclude. And I just didn't want to go that route, and he didn't want to go that route. So the route he went was pretty spectacular. So you might want to check out his. I think that's it. I've run out of VRs.